Hello and welcome. I'm Sabine and you're watching Agile TD Mondays. Today, Lisa Crispin is going to be talking about transferring testing skills to the whole team. And but before she starts, I would like to invite you to the Agile Testing Days USA. And more than 50 Agile and testing experts will share their knowledge and best practices and tips. And topics include lean software testing, mock programming, IPA testing, automation, and many more. Please check out the program on the Agile Testing Days homepage. And if you book until the 14th of February, you will benefit from the super early bird discount pricing. Don't wait too long and register now. And now it's time for Lisa to talk about her favorite topic.
Thank you, Sabine. It is one of my favorite topics. I'm seeing you now, Sabine. Is it showing me or not?
It's showing you.
Okay. This technology, it's hard. So today I'd like to share my experiences with helping my non-tester teammates, including developers, designers, product managers, to learn testing skills. And I think hearing stories is a great way to learn. That's a good way that I learn. So I'm going to share my stories with you. So I'm going to share my slides now so you can see them, and you won't be able to see me, but you'll see me at the end of the slides. So I'm a tester on the Pivotal Tracker team here in Denver, Colorado. And the stories I'm going to tell you today are things that we've actually done here. And the books that Janet Gregory and I have written also have a lot of stories from teams around the world. So it's a great way to learn, and I encourage you to tell your stories and your experiences. So I think most teams probably don't have enough testers. And I know that there are times that I think, oh my gosh, that bug was so obvious. I think the programmers should have been able to find that before they finish the story. Linda Rising last week on this Agile Testing Monday webinar talked about wishes. So if one of your wishes is to have more people helping with testing, one way to do it is to teach other people on your team how to do that testing. Even when we have test automation, we may still have a slow feedback loop. Maybe our tests take a while to run, or they're a bit flaky, they don't give us confidence. So getting more people involved in activities such as exploratory testing can be very helpful. And one way to make your quality wishes come true is to make it a team problem to solve and get the whole team involved. So here on the Tracker team, at Pivotal, exploratory testing is a highly valued activity. Everyone understands the need for doing it. And it's a great way to learn information that's of interest and value to customers, and to reduce risk, to increase our confidence in what we're going to deploy. My team wants to deploy more than once a week to production, and it's hard to do that if you don't feel very confident in your code. Exploratory testing requires tools such as personas, roles, jobs, charters, heuristics, time boxing, and skills such as curiosity, critical thinking, observing, and questioning. So it is something that I think anyone on the team can learn some good exploratory testing skills, even though testers tend to have the best specialized exploratory testing skills. And so not only us testers, but also the managers of our team wanted developers to get better at exploratory testing. And we thought about how can we encourage them, and how can we give them these skills. So our office here in Denver has a catered lunch once a week, and anyone can sign up to do a tech talk during lunch. So I signed up for one day to do an exploratory testing workshop. And I used Elizabeth Hendrickson's Explore It book as a basis. And what we did was I taught them how to write a charter, how to create a persona, think about who's going to use this product and how will they use it, and maybe how old they are, what is their personality like, that sort of thing. And I brought a bunch of toys and games for them to test. So they divided up into small teams of 3 or 4 people each, and they got very creative. And again, we had developers, we had product managers, and we had designers participating. So one team had a game that was supposed to be for young children. So their persona was a very strong and active 5-year-old girl, and they wanted to make sure that she couldn't break the game and that it was safe for her to use. So I thought that was really a great charter. And then another team, I brought some nanobugs, and another team tested the nanobugs by cutting one leg off at a time to see how many legs they actually needed to be able to move. So that's what you see in the picture here. So they were very creative. They had a great time. And I blogged about this on my website. And they had fun, but some of them said, well, this was great, but I'm still not sure how to apply this to actually testing our product. So to encourage them, I did leave copies of Elizabeth Henderson's book, Explore It, around our work areas. I laminated her testing heuristics cheat sheet, which you can download from her website, testobsessed.com. Now, Elizabeth does work also for Pivotal, and so having her in a prominent position at the company certainly has helped raise the profile of exploratory testing and encourage people to learn it. So I have an advantage that you may not all have, but it's still a great book. And I did see developers pick up the book, pick up the heuristics, do some exploratory testing, but it wasn't enough. They were doing it sporadically, but still, when they turned stories over to product managers and testers to test, we still found bugs they should have found. So the managers and testers, we got together and talked about what to do and decided to have a more formal 1-hour exploratory testing workshop. And the development director feels so strongly about this that he actually asked everybody to attend, developers, designers, product managers. And again, it's very helpful to have the support of your managers and buy-in from your team to do this. And I know that can be difficult to do if you're having trouble just sort of selling people on the idea of transferring testing skills and doing activities like exploratory testing. I do recommend Linda Rising and Mary Lynn Mann's book, Fearless Change or More Fearless Change, to get ideas on how to get changes like this going. So we offered 2 1-hour sessions so that we could have a smaller group. And we started off by giving an overview of, again, how to create a persona, what personas are, what charters are, using Elizabeth Hendrickson's template from her book, Explore It. And we gave them tips on, actually doing the testing, observing, that it's really about learning, making sure you take notes so that you can report what you found, testing with comparing to competitive products and things like that. And then we had everyone pair up to test an actual feature that was in development and close to being released. And it was pretty cool. Again, they were very creative, and they did find actual bugs, and they suggested design changes that did get implemented. Now, one thing, we do have remote people on our team, and we included them in the workshop, but it was difficult for them to feel they were really participating because they were remote. So that's a problem that we have to work on before we do training like this again. So here's some examples of what they did. I really like the charter that says explore workspaces with public projects to discover anything weird. But it's a little loose as a charter, but they did find some issues. Some of the developer pairs with developers, product managers, and designers use mind maps to think about what they wanted to test and keep notes of what they test. That's a great way to do it. Helps you brainstorm. So we had this good feedback on the workshop. People felt like they really learned something and wanted to do more exploratory testing. And so we testers started pairing with product managers to write charters at the feature level or epic level, and also to do the testing, the exploratory testing on these charters. And they were very open to that, and they really improved their own testing skills. They tended, when they accept stories, they were tending just to test the happy path. So they learned to explore more edge cases, boundary conditions, and think about what are the jobs and roles of the people who are actually going to use these features. That was really helpful. And we did tester developer pairing, but it wasn't a regular thing. And our developers pair all the time, so it's a little harder to say, well, there are already two of you pairing. Could we maybe form a little mob or something? And the developer pairs were doing some exploratory testing, but in the day-to-day busyness of our lives, it was just easy to forget that. So we think, well, what can we do to really get this more established as a habit, that each developer pair writes their tests, they write their code, they're ready to commit everything and call that story finished. But before they do that, we want them to do some manual exploratory testing on that particular story that they're working on. And also to record what they did so that product managers and testers know what testing's already been done. So we tried a new experiment, and we're trying that right now. We just started a couple weeks ago. So on each of our pods within our team, we have small pods working on vertical stories. And one day each week, a tester and developer pair. Now, we might pair on doing exploratory testing, writing charters, and things like that, or we might actually pair on a story, writing production code. So last week I had the opportunity to pair with one of the developers on stories, and it was really cool because not only did I get to learn more about how they code and how they test and write their automated tests, but I thought of things to try and to test that he hadn't thought of, and we found problems and he could fix those right away. And he was really happy to have that short of a feedback loop and not think he was finished with the story, only to have it be rejected later and come back to him when he's already started working on something else. So again, it also shows the developers how they can get off the happy path and think of more creative things to test as a real user would. So we have other ways on our team that we transfer testing skills and get the whole team involved with testing, because again, we only have a couple testers for a couple dozen developers, and that's hard. So when we have a feature that's about ready to go to maybe to beta or even to release, we do something we call a group hug, and that's a long-standing tradition in the team. They did that even before they had testers on the teams. Sometimes we do this with charters we write ahead of time, and the developer pairs assign themselves a charter and do that charter, and then when they're finished, they go on to the next charter. So sometimes it's a bit more formal like that. Sometimes we just get everybody together in a room, everyone who, we get a lot of volunteers. And again, this can be people in every role on the team. And our product is subject to a lot of concurrency issues because it's all about real-time collaboration. And so it's very helpful to have a bunch of people in a room coordinating their testing. We may work in pairs, we may work all together, and we do get remote people involved, get them on a video conference, and we have a shared document we can all keep notes in, and we can just ask, hey, I'm seeing this weird problem, let me tell you about it. Is anyone else seeing this? Or you can ask somebody, hey Joe, I'm about to update this particular thing. Will you update it at the same time so we can see what happens? So it lets us have a coordinated effort, and these are only 30 minutes to maybe an hour at the most, and we found them really valuable, and it does get everyone at least exposed to testing. And we also have tried mob testing, which is like mob programming, where we have somebody at the keyboard as a driver, we have a navigator that tells them what to type, and then other people contributing ideas and observations. And we rotate on a timer so that everybody gets a chance to be the driver and the navigator. And that's using a technique called strong style pairing, which we found helpful just for pairing with two people, where if I have an idea of something to test, I tell you what to do, and you actually drive the keyboard and do that testing. That's a great way to teach, because the driver, even if they don't know anything about what they're doing, you're telling them what to type, and that's actually a great way to learn. So you can learn about a feature, a product domain. You can learn testing techniques that way. It's a great teaching tool. And we haven't done a lot of mob testing yet, but it's something that we definitely want to experiment with more. So some other testing skills we can teach. Question QA stands for question asker, right? I learned that from Pete Whalen. And so when we're in our Three Amigos Power of Three meetings, planning meetings, we know we can show how to ask good questions. Like, what's the purpose of the story? What problem are we trying to solve? What's the worst thing that could happen is a question I like to ask. And we can also collaborate with developers to guide development with business-facing executable tests, behavior-driven development, acceptance test-driven development, specification by example. So that's another thing that we can help a lot. We can help the developers to write better test cases, and we can collaborate with them to get those automated tests to free us up for more exploratory testing. And again, focusing on the value to customers and users. And thinking about all kinds of quality attributes like performance, security, those sorts of things. We can help everybody on the team adopt an agile testing mindset. So what could you do? What's your biggest problem right now with testing? And is it something that if you had more people doing testing, would it help? So again, how could you get some buy-in from your team, from your managers, to start educating your teammates that aren't testers and get them into that testing mindset and engage in testing and learn some testing skills? So you could start very simply. A practice that Janet and I call show me, and I think some people call this desk checking, where when a programmer is about to check in a story or make a commit a change to the code, they call the tester over and say, here, let's go through this really quickly so we can make sure that this is the right thing, the right behavior. So that's a great way to start interacting with developers and pairing with the developers. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes at a time, it's helpful. Have a brown bag workshop, bring food, always good to do food, and share some, get some games and practice exploratory testing like I did. Try a group hug and just get volunteers together for 30 minutes to test a feature. So these are all kind of low danger ways to get started. And I know it can be hard to get started. It's taken a while to get this going on our team, but it's definitely worth the effort. So I hope you'll let me know how it goes with your efforts to teach testing skills to other people on your team. The slides are going to be available with the video on YouTube, and I thank you for joining us. You can reach out to me anytime. That's my email information, my websites, the book website, my Twitter ID, and I look forward to seeing some of you in Boston. Oh, and I have to unshare now. There we go. That was fun.
Thank you, Lisa. It was a pleasure having you talking about your favorite topic, transferring testing skills. And I think your talk was so good that you answered already all questions. So,
oh, noes.
If there's somebody out there watching it later, you can contact Lisa on her contact details she had offered at the end of her slides. And I'm going to tell you who is my guest next week now. Mm-hmm. I think there's a problem. Lisa, could you close your slides, your window with your slides?
Did that help? I think I stopped screen sharing. Oh, there we go.
No. So, no, I'm just telling you now. You're more than welcome to join me next week when Roman Pichler is going to share his 10 great tips to write great user stories.
Oh, great. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Yeah. So again, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Lisa, for your talk. And I hope to see you in Boston in June.
See y'all soon. Thanks.
Bye.